Recruiting-ish. Web3. World-class podcast. Let's get it, let's go. The topics of discussion you cannot get from another. Opportunities in Web3, we got you covered. Metaintro, been dope. Gotta thank you for the love and support that you give it. Keep it coming. We going up in jet speeds, interviews with the crews, making moves, let's see. It's a brand new world of NFTs. Join in Recruiting-ish podcast, yes please. Join in Recruiting-ish podcast, yes please. Metaintro does not give financial advice. Information provided by Metaintro is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. Always do your own research on the companies that you apply to and the opportunities that you invest in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Recruiting-ish podcast. It's Tuesday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to those of you celebrating, single and couples. Important to celebrate. We're here with Lacey from the Metaintro team and myself, Alex. Say hey.
Hey, how's it going? Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, everybody that's listening. Either you're having a National Single Awareness Day, a Galentine's Day, or celebrating with somebody you love. So today, in the spirit of, I'm trying to find a way to tie this back on the spot, in the spirit of love in the air, we're giving our love back to the individuals who took the time to send in their questions for us to review today. Did I do a good job there, or was that pulling it out of my butt?
No, I was struggling as well. I mean, we were talking before this. We were going to wear some crazy costumes, try to tie it in. We're being professional, though. And I think, yeah, like you said, some people are searching for love, but there's also a lot of people searching for jobs. So we're going to help you match.
That was good.
We're going to match make these opportunities and hopefully line you up with your future employer. So we've got a couple people that have reached out through the Discord that Metaintro runs with a couple questions. We'll listen to them, talk through it, hopefully give some answers and advice, and hopefully it helps that person and others in similar situations.
Let's dive in.
All right. We'll play the first one.
I just want to ask, I'm looking for a way to get a job. I have 3 years experience. I'm looking for a UI, UX or product design job. So is there a way you can help or just put me through or something?
To sum it up, someone's looking for a UI, UX or product design job. Sounds just like, helpful hints to get into the industry, maybe what they should prepare for. Got any thoughts?
Yeah. With design in Web3, obviously it has so much to do with your portfolio. But I feel like there are a ton of ways you can go about getting your portfolio out there. I don't know how you go about your hiring practice with designers, specifically if they go through tests or, with companies you've worked with in the past, if they go through like a design test, what that process looks like. But for us, when we look for designers, we look across a bunch of platforms, not just the Metaintro Discord, but Dribbble is a great one. LinkedIn, AngelList is a good one for us too. We ask for recommendations on Twitter. And I'm trying to think how else you can go about finding a design job in Web3. Hopping into Discords, showing off your portfolio. What do you think?
Yeah, the portfolio piece is by far the biggest piece. I think for any visual design role, that's the first thing somebody looks at. So you got to have your resume. Ideally, that portfolio link should be right at the top, showcasing so somebody can link into it. If you got a LinkedIn, put it on your LinkedIn, make sure it's visible. Twitter, Lacey and the Metaintro team have done an awesome job about optimizing your socials. So you've got Instagram, if you've got Twitter, other social networks, and you're branding yourself professionally, put your portfolio there too, so it's easy access. I think another route, if he's more so asking how do I get into product design and maybe doesn't have experience, doing some free work in a Discord. I've seen a lot of people that do mock-ups, hey, I did this mock-up. Here's some content that I created, trying to get some experience maybe that way. Fiverr is really good if you're getting into design to just put your skill set out there and let the market kind of come to you to show off some skills. Then you can take some of that work and put it back into your portfolio to help build it. Yeah, I think those would be kind of my recommendations, as well as applying for roles. It's all across the board. I mean, check on some job sites. Networking's huge in creatives. Like creatives stick together and they refer networks together. So whether that's LinkedIn or Twitter or Discord, there's probably like some core communities around it. As well as the Metaintro Discord, I know has some sections for that. So always a shameless plug for Metaintro, but great Discord where they'll either have roles posted or you can connect with some folks that might be able to get you into the right place.
What makes a really good design portfolio? And second question to that, when's the last time that you looked at an applicant's portfolio and you were like, oh my gosh, I have to hop on a call with this person? And was it because of their design skill or was it because of the way that they displayed their work on their portfolio?
So first question on what makes a good designer, I think that's the hardest part of design because it is extremely subjective and it changes not only based on the company and kind of their brand style, could be the hiring manager and maybe what they think works really well or looks really good. And then on the recruiting side too, like I'm not a designer, but I have preferences. Like I like good design and I can maybe hopefully make some decisions. So you might deal with 3 different viewpoints. So for like a portfolio, I always look at it. I mean, it's something where if I'm interviewing for product design or even content or graphic design, that's actually where I look to more than the resume, just because it gives you those real life examples. As well as I think hiring managers too, like they're super visual. So if you've got a really well laid out design portfolio, either PDF style in a presentation or like a website, I think that really helps your chances. I'd say there's been a few where I've looked at a resume and I'm like, this isn't a great resume. And then I've looked at the portfolio and I'm like, holy shit, this is like
really
a star. Because sometimes you can't translate like visual aspects to a resume very well, but you could build a portfolio that's like, wow, look at all this great work and projects I've done. That's, really well put together. So I've myself, like, I think you absolutely have to have that. But you got to also be kind of general with it. So like I've seen people do different sections of the portfolio or specific samples if it's, a specific industry. But it's all your own, right? It's your style, you're creative. So don't be scared to make it your own because inevitably that's your design style too. So.
And can you explain, just for people that are listening, what is the difference between a resume, a cover letter, and a portfolio?
Yeah, so resume, I would say, is skills and accomplishments broadly, right? Whether that's education, roles, companies you've worked at, some of the accomplishments and things you've done at those should be pretty general, usually 1 to 2 pages, quick snapshot. Cover letter is taking that resume and translating it to that company or role. So for example, if I was applying at Spotify, dear hiring manager, here's my experience and why I want to work at this role at Spotify. Normally a page, couple paragraphs, short, but translating the resume. Portfolio for design candidates is really where you show your design skill sets. I think both you can show your work, whether that's if you're a video editor, you could do that. If it's product design, you could show the websites and what you've done. Normally on portfolios that I've seen, they include like what their like personal contributions were, or if it was a team. But hopefully between the 3 of those, like it gives you a ton of different avenues to really like sell yourself and kind of brand yourself as a candidate.
And this is the part in the video version of our podcast where I go like this and I point to the screens and you see a cover letter, a resume, and a portfolio.
There you go.
If you're listening to the audio version of this, make sure you check out the video version of this on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that question all the time. You would be surprised if people ask me, what is a portfolio? What is that to a resume? Are these 2 different entities? Where do they live? How do I submit them? And portfolios, like Alex just said, generally like a website, a Notion page, something of that sort. I've seen like a few different creative ways of hosting like free online sites because it could get expensive depending on what you're trying to do with it. And then a resume is that traditional idea that you have in your head. It's a PDF, at least for now, until it becomes a wallet, and has all of that experience laid out. So if you don't know and you didn't see the YouTube version of me going like this, check it out online, Google it, you'll see a bunch of great examples.
Yeah, we'll make a TikTok and a YouTube short of that too, with all those nice animated graphics.
Yes.
We're working on a lot of platforms for folks. So if you see us, make sure to engage with all the content.
All right, what's the next one?
All right, so round 2.
I have like a little question. So I've been in other like Discord and stuff like that, and looking at recruiting stuff and stuff like that to get like the job in Web3. And sometimes like I get connections over LinkedIn, and they're all like kind of random in a way, or some are from like same groups, like say people who visit.
Oh, hold on.
And then they connect with other people in the audience. I was just trying to see, like, is there a way, some sort of metric or something in order to kind of choose, like, connections, or should I just be, like, accepting connections from whoever all the time? I just want to ask,
Okay, sorry, we're working off Telegram audio messages, so if it cut out in between, apologize. But sum it up, it sounds like questions about LinkedIn. How should they be using it? Should they be accepting everybody? Should they be adding people? How do you use it? What's best use case?
That's a good question, and I feel like that is very personal to that individual. For me, as somebody who's both been on the job seeking side and the hiring side, and now biz dev, I think now, if you ask me today, I'm a little bit more selective with who I accept, just because there's so many other ways to connect with me, whether that's like on Discord, on Twitter, God forbid Telegram. Please don't come for my Telegram. But with LinkedIn, it can get, as a recruiter, and Alex, you might have a different opinion about this. Sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming if I post a job and then all of a sudden there's like 500 applicants that also friend request me. The reason that I would accept all of those requests is because I want them to be engaged with other future roles that I post, other jobs that Metaintro posts that are like ecosystem jobs. I want those individuals to see those jobs, even if they're not like a good fit for our roles. But sometimes it can be overwhelming. However, up until now, I accepted everybody for the most part. And individuals can send out requests for various reasons, whether you're trying to grow your connections on LinkedIn, whether you're trying to connect with certain individuals just to have in your network. But that's just personal to me. Depends on what your goals are for LinkedIn.
I think that's a great point. I think people forget LinkedIn is social media, right? So like it is your personal image, it's professional in nature, but there is content on there, people engage, people message. So like if you want to keep it private to the people you have that ability. Like I think that's the cool thing about LinkedIn connections is you can decline people, you can respond back, you can accept them, or even you can make your whole profile private, to just your network. So use it, leverage it to what you need. I do think though, the more connections you have, the more content you see. And if you're searching for jobs, it's a really good way to, get some insight. It also is a good way for you to see what it's like working at a company, because you can see or connect with people working there, see their content, see what they're posting about, engage with them. Like you can probably make some good connections that are a little bit more organic. For me as a recruiter, like LinkedIn is, well, if I didn't have LinkedIn, I probably wouldn't be very good at my job. So I connect with everybody. I think I've got almost 32 or 33,000 connections, or maybe under that somewhere, but no influencer, not like the Gary V of LinkedIn. But it's like I've worked in recruiting for about 7 years. So I talk to a lot of candidates, and it like people come and message me. They ask me about jobs. I can give them advice. And then even now for the podcast, like it's giving me a good network to like share that content with. So that was a long way of answering, like, you do you, and don't be scared that you're going to like, offend somebody if you decline your LinkedIn request. Just don't use LinkedIn as a dating site is my biggest.
Oh my gosh.
The biggest thing, because people do that. It happens to girls and guys. I've had some messages where I'm like, it's not for LinkedIn.
I feel like there's a good story behind that. So we'll save that for the bonus episode.
Yes, there'll be a behind the scenes where I share those details. Funny when it happens, very flattering, but not the right place for sure.
Correct. And this is where I drop Alex's LinkedIn link below here. If you're looking at the YouTube, I'm pointing to it. Friend request him.
Yeah, I'll accept everybody. My DMs are open. If you're interested in a job at where I currently recruit for, let me know. Or the other thing too that I've been trying to do, there's a lot of people laid off. So, message me if you think I'm connected with somebody, if you can kind of leverage my connection. I'm happy to kind of play a, connector of people. So yeah, a shameless LinkedIn plug, I guess.
All right. What's the next one?
All right, round 3.
I have a question. I think it was like 2 ago. I mentioned a Chrome extension. It's called Jobalytics. And basically, if you see an advertisement online, if you click this extension, it will give you kind of all the keywords and match them to your CV. I haven't found it to be particularly useful because I haven't responded using this. Do you know of any similar or maybe better extensions, similar tools that we can use to kind of optimize our CVs towards job descriptions?
So I have like a little question.
Okay, so Jobalytics, I'm gonna have to look that up. As I think Nick brought it up on one of the episodes.
Yeah,
I haven't personally used it. Lacey, have you used it before?
I haven't. But I do know that there are a ton of great tools out there that can help you, if you will, spray and pray your resume, which can be very helpful because if you're a job seeker and you're listening to this, you know how painful it is to do 2 things. One, have to re-input your data into different ATS systems, or ATS systems, not even if it's in the same one, not remembering all of your data that you need to put in. And then 2, filling out job applications that mimic the same exact data that's on your resume. And you also have to submit your resume. So I understand the pain points there. It could be really tedious. It slows down your process and probably the pace at which you can land that dream job. And so in terms of other tools that I've seen individuals use that autofill. Like, it's not a Chrome extension, it's like a Mac thing where you can autofill your data. That's like a hacky way of throwing that together. So every time somebody asks you what your first and last name is, your email address, your phone number, where you last worked, it'll just autofill. That's a good way of doing it, and it's free. What else? Are you looking at Jobalytics right now?
I am, yeah. So it looks pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I'll have to test this out, and probably I could share this with a couple candidates too, and see if they're getting some use from it. I think one thing, or I think the sell of this, right, is 2 things, right? So like you said, like optimizing it, saving time, because there's a lot of job applications, but there's a section in their website that I'm going to pick apart. So it says, get past the robots. Your resume isn't read by humans. It's read by machines. Out of 250 applications. It did. I'm like, no, wait a second. And it gives some details about applicant tracking systems or application systems that filter out based on keywords. So this is supposed to help you get past that. For personal experience, I've never worked for a company or with a company that has used like a robot or AI or something to do that. There are companies out there. I think Amazon is maybe one of them, Google, probably the big tech firms, but a lot of startups are not going to have the money to pay for a tool like that. And there is going to be someone like a recruiter or a founder that is individually looking at your resume. So optimize it, I think is good, but the whole saying of like recruiters are just, some ATS system booting you out is not my experience, I should say, but
it hits home.
It does.
I feel attacked.
I mean,
a little attacked.
At some point, ChatGPT is going to replace me. I'm just waiting for it. And I would actually, that could be a great tool for resume building or a cover letter. I mean, again, I'm not saying cheap. I use AI, but use it as a tool to help. Because I've seen some really good stuff that it's put out just in terms of creating or like condensing content. So we may have to have somebody do like a beta test of that, see what their resume looks like.
Yeah, we did a live, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, where we took somebody's cover letter, then took the text for the job description that they wanted, and then went to ChatGPT and said, rework my resume to use keywords from this job description and show how I can be qualified for this role. And it rewrote the whole thing in seconds. And I was reading through, and I was like, this is great. None of it's wrong. It's all true. It's just reworded in a way that matches the JD. And it was done in seconds. So yeah, be creative.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to we'll put a link to that too, so you can see that. And yeah, if you have experience with using ChatGPT as in a job aid, right? Not cheating, job aid. Let us know, because maybe we'll have you on to kind of talk about it or review that live, because that could be cool.
Or even writing a job description. I don't know like in what way you would want to use it to recruit better applicants, but I'm curious if at some point in your recruitment career, you'll go one day, I wonder if I should use ChatGPT to make this job sound more attractive, or to use certain keywords. Who knows? Might happen.
Yeah, I've got a coworker friend of mine that's been using it to, it's Boolean search strings is what we use in LinkedIn to just condense candidates and like filter sort. So he's been using ChatGPT to like build some really detailed ones for some niche crypto roles, and he's had some good experience. As well as if you're getting a LinkedIn email from a recruiter, it might be written by ChatGPT, because that's really hard to craft. And again, we do it at volume. So I've seen some LinkedIn messages that have been created through that are very well written response, messaging. So I haven't used it myself. So anybody that's received a message from me, it's personal. But I'll try it out. I'll try anything. I'm not scared of the tools. For this podcast, we did, not ChatGPT, but we did do like a podcast name generator. This did not come through that, but
this did not.
We used, some of the other ones as creative collateral.
This was your brainchild, this name. So generator couldn't reproduce that.
We'll see. At some point, we're all going to be replaced by robots. So I'm just enjoying the last of it. But that was the 3 messages we had. Thank you to everybody that reached out. I'm in the Discord and the Spaces. We'll continue to do these as part of it. We'll also shuffle in some additional content with new guests, maybe a new host. And if you're interested in anything we're doing on the podcast, like, subscribe, engage, everything like that for Recruiting-ish.
Yeah, awesome. And if you want to send in your audio recording, send it to media@Metaintro or DM us on Discord. You can DM any of the admins with your MP3. And with that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you next week. Happy Valentine's Day.